It's Monday, November 10th. Vlog just went up. ThriftCon vlog is now up. Yeah, I literally got home from work and went straight to editing because I wasn't finished. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. We currently just bought some shoes. I'll probably throw up a clip of it. Can you even see? It's a black box, but dun 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 dun. Some Kobe's, size 10, size 10.5, brand new. They are getting posted ASAP because they are brand new. I don't have to clean them. But now we're waiting on another meetup. Yeah, this week is buying. I'm buying heavy. I have an idea for the brand, some Instagram reels to do, is to create an outfit with the shirt. So like say I wear this hoodie, I'd basically create an outfit with this hoodie. So I would buy like maybe blue jean pants, probably buy some like shoes there, maybe a hat, maybe no shoes because that is expensive. Or I could even like go to like a thrift store and do the same thing. So now we're just waiting for the other guy to respond so we can go meet him. Meetup number 2. Let's go. We just got done working out. We sold some shoes, so I think I put a clip of me buying earlier this week, Monday. I bought 4 Kobe's and I just sold 3 of them online. And then last week we bought some Kobe's and those also sold. So we sold 4 shoes. We got 4 packages. I'm gonna try and show this without trying to show the address. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. I'll pop up a picture, bro. Yeah, that's all we got planned. Yeah, we're gonna go take these packages right now. And then I didn't pick up the camera yesterday because I worked late. And as soon as I got home, I had to rush to softball in Baytown. It's still dark. Oh my gosh. I don't know about y'all, but this daylight saving time, or is it the other way around? It's when it gets dark at like 5 basically. It be making me tired. I guess I'll give y'all like a look into me selling shoes. So I bought those Kobe's. I bought 2 size 10.5s and 2 size 10s. Yeah, I paid $200 each. Except on one pair I paid $190, and I just sold them each for $235. So on the $190 pair, that's $45 of profit. On the other 2, that's $35 of profit. And then on the other Kobe that I bought last week, I paid $120. I just sold it for $165 online. So in total, that's $45. Plus 35 times 3, and that was 150. 35 is 70, is 105, plus 45 is 150. Yes, W math. I didn't even be able to post the Kobe's on my Instagram. So if you're not shopping, shop on my Instagram, holy.souls13. Typically when I get brand new shoes in, they get posted up soon because I don't have to clean them, and sometimes they get sniped real fast. So we cleaned. Check this out. I can finally see my floor. I'm not gonna lie, laundry was all over it, bro. It was bad, but it wasn't like, okay, it was everywhere, but it wasn't like messed up. It was at least organized. Shirts laid flat out, socks, underwear, shorts, all separate, organized, just everywhere. Right now we're catching up on our inventory / sheets, I guess. Basically I'm going over on things I sold from like basically today and from the past event. Going through, I haven't also put into my sheets what I bought since last month. So I'm basically going through what I bought last month and this month, putting them in. Maybe I'll give you a little look under my sheets, bruh. Alright. This is the name of the shoe, and used, or if they're new. This is supposed to be the size. I don't know why I've been putting the price. But the day we bought them, how much we paid for them, how much we sold them for, the day we sold them, profits / negatives. So like this one's 25, and this one's negative 15. Oh, you're not even looking at it? Great, okay. Like this one's regular 25 because it's positive, and that one's 15 because it's negative. I mean, I lost 15 bucks on that pair. And then this is basically when I ship shoes through my Instagram, how much I paid for the label and shipping and all that, and that subtracts from the profits. So like, say I paid 75, I sold it for 100, but I needed to ship it and the label was $5. I would put $5 here, and then my profit would be basically 20 bucks because I spent 5 for the label. So I basically spent 80 bucks in total for the shoe. There is something I want to get back into, not as like a full-time gig, but just something that is interesting. Basically, it's something I've done before and I've tried to do as a business, but it failed. Not failed, it was just, well, I guess, yeah, you could say it failed. But now, I'm not gonna do it as a business in itself. One, I want to do it for personal use. Two, if my friends want something, maybe we could do like something we can do it like together, bro. Like, that'd be something cool to like video and show off. Maybe like special orders. I'd have like people pay for the materials, labor, and stuff like that. But very selective because it is time consuming. Yeah, basically it's tough. I think the technical term is called tufting. Basically rug making. I've made one rug. It's brutal. I'm gonna show y'all a pic because I have to, well, maybe not. I have to move my bookshelf out of the way because that's what's on top of it. I want to make rugs also for events. Like, for instance, like I have my 2 logos, my clothing brand and my reselling business, on the ground, and it's just like a dope thing to like see. And then it's like a cool display in my room. Like, what's new? What can I do to make this vlog very entertaining? I guess what I can do is, tomorrow I think I'm busy, but I can start building what I need for the rugs to make. And then Friday, I don't work on Fridays, so what I can do is make that a day where I make a rug and I vlog it. You know, another thing I just remember this right now for more content purposes, because I probably only vlogged Monday, is I'm going to start talking about the books I read. So like, you saw, was it last week, where I talked about the books I'm reading, this one and Mere Christianity, where I talk about a chapter that I'm reading. Talk about, like, right now I am on chapter 11, and it's called The Medical Evidence. Was Jesus' death a sham and his resurrection a hoax? I would basically talk about this whole chapter and what key points it talked about. But yeah, let's see. First title, or I guess title of the next section: resurrection or resuscitation? Bro. Resuscitation. Something like that. And then it talks about the interview. Alright, after that it talks about the interviewer. The 10th interview, Alexander Matherl, MD, PhD. I don't know what it is in though. I guess you'll find out when I talk about it. It's Thursday. I don't know why I was about to say Wednesday. Did I vlog it? Oh, I did vlog yesterday. Got some packages. About to go drop those off, and then you see me, jersey, hat. We got softball. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah. Tonight, after all that though, I'm gonna get the rug stuff out of my closet. I'm gonna get it out, and we're working tomorrow, so we're working overtime tomorrow for our job. So I can't spend all day doing that. But after work, I have pretty much nothing to do besides work out. And then, so I'm gonna start the process of setting that up, getting everything ready. And then, yeah, probably tomorrow night, Saturday morning, I will show the process of me working on the rug. Saturday, I have a wedding that I'm going to. Maybe when I get back, I can finish the rug, hopefully. It is a long process, so I don't think I'm gonna finish in time by the time this vlog is gonna go out. But, you know, at least I started. Alright, chat. We just got this stuff. We got done working out, first of all. And now we just got done eating. And we just got this stuff out of my closet. Look at this. First we have the stand that holds up like the fabric that you put all the yarn into. I mean, this is basically everything. We got the rug gun. This is, I think, the glue that you put on in the back to hold everything. We have some yarn. This is the electric razor that you trim everything. There's my projector. What is this? Oh, I think this goes, okay, this is for this. I was just looking for that. What else? Some spray. Yeah, all the essential. Oh, look, I need this too. Yeah, all the essentials. I have it. I made one rug. It's, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of dark. It's under my bookshelf. Alright, we just finished the frame. That's really all I was planning on doing today. What time is it? 7:30. Alright, problem. Alright, so I got it all set up. Got the frame. We put a thing over, but I only had 2 little pieces, so I don't have enough to put on the whole thing to make a full rug. So now I have to go to like an art store, I guess. Let's talk about what we read. Alright, so we've been reading this, The Case for Christ. This past chapter I just read, it talked about the medical evidence. Medical evidence, was Jesus' death a sham and his resurrection a hoax? That was a question that was like his questioning into this chapter and into this conversation he's about to have. Talks about people's like doubts and theories into the supposed resurrection, they say. One of them is in the Quran, where it says Jesus never was crucified. Written in the 7th century. It says, someone by the name of Ahmadiyya contend that Jesus actually fled to India. There's a shrine that supposedly marks his real burial place in Srinagar, Kashmir. Sorry if I butchered that. Others have tried to explain the resurrection, in the 19th century, Karl Barth, I cannot pronounce that, Bahrdt, and Carl Venturini and others tried to explain away the resurrection by suggesting that Jesus only fainted from exhaustion on the cross, or he had been given a drug that made him appear to die, and that he had later been revived by the cool, damp air of the tomb. Yeah, it goes into basically just like myths that people have put onto Christ about his resurrection and about his death on the cross. So his question is this: but what does the evidence really establish? What actually happened at the crucifixion? What was Jesus' cause of death? Is there any possible way he could have survived this ordeal? Those are the kind of questions that I hoped medical evidence could help resolve. So he interviews Alexander Metherell. He has a medical degree and a doctorate in engineering. He is board certified in diagnosis by the American Board of Radiology and has been a consultant to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute of the National Institute of Health of Bethesda, Maryland. So they're talking, and his first question is, could you paint a picture of what happened to Jesus? Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he's praying. He knows what's about to happen. And during this process, he was anticipating the coming events of the next day. Since he knew the amount of suffering he was going to have to endure, he was quite naturally experiencing a great deal of psychological stress. And then Lee Strobel stops him, and he says, whoa, here's where skeptics have a field day, I told him. The Gospels tell us he began to sweat blood at this point. Now come on, isn't that just a product of some overactive imaginations? Doesn't that call into question the accuracy of the Gospel writers? He questions. Unfazed, Metherall shook his head. Not at all. This is a known medical condition called hematidirosis. It's not very common, but it is associated with a high degree of psychological stress. And then he explains basically the medical stuff that happened and why Jesus was sweating blood. Now, he then asks the question, did this have any other effect on the body? And he says, what this did was set up the skin to be extremely fragile so that when Jesus was flogged by the Roman soldier the next day, by his skin would be very, very sensitive. Now after all that, he says, tell me, what was the flogging like? Roman floggings were known to be terribly brutal. They usually consisted of 39 lashes, but frequently were a lot more than that, depending on the mood of the soldier applying the blows. The soldier would use a whip of braided leather thongs with metal balls woven into them. When the whip would strike the flesh, these balls would cause deep bruises or contusions, which would break open with further blows. And the whip had pieces of sharp bone as well, which would cut the flesh severely. The back would be so shredded that part of the spine was sometimes exposed by the deep cuts. The whippings would have gone all the way from the shoulders down to the back, the buttocks, and the back of the legs. It was just terrible. He says, we know that many people would die from this kind of beating even before they could be crucified. At least the victim could experience tremendous pain and could go into hypovolemic shock. He then explains hypovolemic shock is suffering the effects of losing a large amount of blood. This does 4 things. The heart races to try to pump blood that isn't there. Blood pressure drops, causing fainting or collapse. The kidneys stop producing urine to maintain what volume is left, and the person becomes very thirsty as the body craves fluids to replace the lost blood volume. And then he says, we see this when he said he was carrying the horizontal beam of the cross. Jesus collapsed and ordered Simon to carry the cross for him. And then later we read that he says that I thirst, at which point a sip of vinegar was offered for him. Because of the terrible effects of this beating, there's no question that Jesus was already in serious to critical condition even before the nails were driven through his hands and feet. Already before getting to the cross, he's in a tremendous amount of pain that we couldn't bear, pain that we deserve though, that we should be going through, but he took that punishment for us. Now the title of this next part we're going to go into in the same chapter is called The Agony of the Cross. Now he asks the question, what happened when he arrived at the site of the crucifixion? He says this, he would have been laid down, his hands would have been nailed in the outstretched position to the horizontal beam. This crossbar was called the patibulum, and at this stage it was separate from the vertical beam, which was permanently set in the ground. Now he said the Romans used spikes that were 5 to 7 inches long and tapered to a sharp point, and they were driven through the wrist. This part gets crazy. Now we all believe it to be in his hands, and that's what Lee questions. He said, I thought the nails were pierced in his palms. That's what all the paintings show. In fact, it becomes a standard symbol representing the crucifixion. Metherall says, through the wrist. This was a solid position that would lock the hand. If the nails had been driven through the palm, his weight would have caused the skin to tear and would have fallen off the cross. So the nails went through the wrist, although this was considered part of the hand in the language of the day. When you grab your wrist, you feel the bones on each side. Imagine the nails going through that in the middle, and it's being held in between by those 2 bones. Now Lee then asked this question. He said, what stresses would this have put on his body? He said, first of all, his arms would have immediately been stretched, probably about 6 inches in length. and both shoulders would have become dislocated. And he says this fulfilled the Old Testament prophecy in Psalm 22, which foretold the crucifixion hundreds of years before it took place, and said, "My bones are out of joint." The next section of this chapter is called the cause of death. Now he goes on to talk about him being on the cross. He said, once a person is hanging in the vertical position, crucifixion is essentially an agonizingly slow death by asphyxiation. I think I said that right. The reason is that the stresses on the muscle and diaphragm put the chest into an inhaled position. Basically, in order to hail, the individual must push up on his feet so the tension on the muscles would be eased for a moment. In doing so, the nail would tear through the foot, eventually locking up against the tarsal bones. I don't know where that is. I think that might be like this shin part area, the ankle. After managing to exhale, the person would then be able to relax down and take another breath. Again, he'd have to push himself up to exhale, scraping his bloody back against the coarse wood of the cross. This would go on until complete exhaustion would take over and the person would be able to push up and breathe anymore. And then he also talks about how earlier we talked about the hypovolemic shock would have caused a sustained rapid heart rate that would have contributed to heart failure, resulting in the collection of fluid in the membrane around the heart called a pericardial effusion, as well as around the lungs, which is called a pleural effusion. Lee's questioned. He says, why is that significant? And then Metherol says this: because of what happened when the Roman soldier came around and, being fairly certain that Jesus was dead, confirmed it by thrusting a spear into his right side. And when he pierced it, some fluid, the pericardial effusion and the pleural effusion, came out. This would have the appearance of a clear fluid like water, followed by a large volume of blood, as the eyewitness John described in the Gospel.